Chris Hand is not going to be here for the crisscross handoff.
Is he stuck in traffic again?
He is stuck in traffic, yes. Something must be going on, 24 westbound heading into town.
It is pretty ugly in the Laverne area. Like there's a black spot on the roadway. You know, they have colors that they used in these maps, and so red is pretty bad, but black is like bad.
Oh, black is like if it's black, then you ain't going anywhere. And apparently Chris Hand was stuck or is stuck in the black. So listen, Chris,
I get it.
Take your time. I don't mind staying late for you again. I'm totally kidding. Moving right along. You know, it's interesting. We were talking to Matthew Hurt about some of the polling out there and what's going to happen in the midterm elections, who people are holding responsible or accountable for the government shutdown. And Harry Enton, and this is a great video, made its way around the interwebs and the socials yesterday. Harry Enton, you know, my favorite over at CNN, the question posed was, because remember, Trump had a shutdown in his first term as well. And by the way, I made some sort of a mention about the difference between Trump's first term and Trump's second term earlier in the broadcast. And everybody agrees with me that Trump's second term far, far in a way better than Donald Trump's first term. And I think the obvious reason is because Trump, number one, he's not dealing with the same nincompoops that he was in the first go-around. And the Republican Party is basically behind him, as opposed to in the first administration of Donald Trump, where he was battling the Democrats, he was battling investigations, he was battling Republicans as well. Anyway, bottom line is, how are the American people responding to this shutdown, and are they holding Donald Trump accountable? So this is Harry Enton. Listen.
That's exactly right. Turns out shutdowns are different the second time around when it comes to Donald Trump. Take a look here. You know, we speak about Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating. We're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point in terms of his popular support. So the bottom line is this. The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
Now, here's the thing, because I want to give a little bit more perspective on this. 2018, 2019, we had a shutdown. Trump was down 3 points. And they're talking about how this was because of the shutdown. But it's a lot. There's a lot more to the story. I mean, when Donald Trump, the first election, the Democrats and the media were accusing him of basically colluding with the Russians to steal the election from Hillary Clinton. So he, again, had all of those things that were going on. He was fighting for his political life just right out of the gate. The Democrats were looking for ways to impeach him. So that is why I'm not going to put Donald Trump's falling approval rating back in 2018, 2019. I'm not going to put that just on the shutdown. I think there were a lot of things that were going on. I mean, really, Donald Trump's first administration, the political assassination of Donald Trump, I mean, it began when, well, heck, it even began before he took the oath of office. And so I think that his first administration, his second administration, two totally, completely different things. But the point that Harry Enton is making is that right now, Donald Trump is solidly, and in my opinion anyway, according to these numbers, solidly backed by the American people, especially the Republican Party. Now, I do understand, but what about the No Kings protest? You had millions of people out there. Okay. 7 million people, is that what it was? So 7 million people across America with these No Kings protests. Okay, that's fine. How many people are in this country? 330 million? Is that what it is still? About 330 million? So these No Kings protests, to me, whatever. Because don't forget, the media also tried to sell you on, oh my gosh, do you see how many people are in these Kamala Harris campaign stops, right? It was like you had all of these millions of people coming out to see Kamala Harris. Well, the reality was the people weren't coming out to see Kamala Harris. They were coming out to see Beyonce or, I don't know, you name the...
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey. What?
What about the question of blame?
Yeah, okay. What about the question of blame? Okay, you see Donald Trump's net approval rating was down 2018 to 2019. You talk about 2025 as net approval rating is up. It comes down to the blame game, a game I loved to play when I was younger. Blame Trump for the shutdown, a great deal. In 2018/2019, 61%, more than 3 in 5 Americans blame Trump, a great deal for that particular shutdown. You come over to this side of the screen, look at this. It's a different world. 48% of Americans blame Trump a great deal for this particular shutdown.
All right, so 2018, 2019, 61% blamed Donald Trump for the shutdown at the time. But, in 2018, 2019, they would blame Trump for anything. They would blame Donald Trump because it's raining outside. But in 2025, and this is to me the most interesting, right now, 48% of the American people blame Donald Trump for the shutdown. But if you think about it, I mean, by and large, I always look at it this way. You got half of the American people are Democrat, the other half are Republican. I know that the differences are more nuanced. But bottom line is, if you've got 48% that are blaming Donald Trump, and I'm going to say only 48%, then that means even some Democrats understand that Donald Trump is not the one that is shutting down the government. Clearly, it is the Democrats.
So it's more than 3 in 5 back in 2018/2019. It's less than half, a drop of 13 points. Again, it's no real wonder that Donald Trump, at this point, looking at the shutdown, says, you know what, it's not actually harming me politically, in large part because he's getting less of the blame.
And he's doing things differently during this shutdown.
Yes, exactly right. We talk about Donald Trump and you say, okay, he wants to be a consequential, influential president. Well, if the legislative process is basically freezed up, on Capitol Hill, you may say, well, then he can't actually get legislation through. But that's not how Trump is governing in this term. We've spoken about this over and over and over again. He's using his pen. He's using executive orders. Trump executive orders at this point of presidency. In 2017, It was just 50. Look at this. Already 210 executive orders signed by Donald Trump during this presidency. That is the most in a year. You have to go all the way back since Franklin Delano Roosevelt to find a president who signed more executive orders in a year than Donald Trump has already signed this time around. And remember, John Berman, we still have 2 months to go in this year, so it wouldn't be surprising to me if he signs even more.
Yeah, it seems to be saying, Congress, you don't want to do something?
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
That is Harry Enton, John, I think it said Berman, on CNN. The number of executive orders is rather startling. 2025, 210 executive orders. I made the joke earlier. 210 executive orders. Oh, my gosh, he's a king. He thinks he's a king. No, because, some of these executive orders, they're getting stopped in the courts and so forth. And if Donald Trump was a king, which clearly he's not, then they would just, go through by decree and there wouldn't be any checks and balances. And that's why I think people with these no kings protests over the weekend, I think people just... they see these for what they are, which is just absolute absurdity. So I'm not going to get bogged down in the No Kings protests this morning. I've been trying not to. There's a couple of great sound bites that I've got that I'm going to play coming up. But I love this headline, just talking about the shutdown and the politics of it all. I've got some great audio from Markwayne Mullin. He is a senator. That is coming up next, where he's going to talk about why is it that the Democrats are literally afraid to sign on to that continuing resolution. Today is day 21 of the Schumer shutdown. And Senator Markwayne Mullin, he is a Republican, and he says, you know what? Here's the problem with the Democrats is they are literally afraid of their base. Listen to this.
I've always said I can work across the aisle as long as they love the country as much as I do. But when you start making decisions on the future of this country based on your reelection, there's no room to negotiate because you're not thinking about the country anymore. You're only thinking about yourself. A Democrat senator was quoted today in The Hill saying that after the No Kings rally, actually a lot of them feel like their neck and is in a guillotine. Is it really just about their base? Is that the reason why they're shutting down the government? Yes, 100% they're afraid of their base. They're afraid of their own party that they'll get primaried in the upcoming election. And you go, that can't be possible. Okay, tell me one thing that's on this bill that the Republicans have put on since Chuck Schumer wrote it, and they voted for it in September of last year, December of last year, January of this year, and March of this year. Nothing has changed other than their base demanded that they shut down the government. I've always said...
Yeah, that is Mark Wayne Mullen. Listen to this headline. He was talking about that article in The Hill. Democratic senators fear getting hammered after no kings for ending the shutdown. So, you know, if you're a Democrat, to hear Mark Wayne Mullen say it, if Democrats vote to keep the government or get the government back open, well, then they're worried that all those people that are out there for the No Kings protest are going to primary them during the next election. And so what they're doing is they're putting their own power, the Democrats are putting their own power in front of the American people. This is the story again from The Hill. Grassroots Democrats frustrated with the Trump administration have been demanding a fight. And on Saturday, millions showed up at No Kings demonstrations across the country to protest the president's government. But some Democrats, skeptical about their leadership's hardline stance against reopening the federal government, privately acknowledging that they fear getting hammered by their liberal base if they vote for a Republican spending bill. But as Mark Wayne Mullen said, this is the same spending bill that the Democrats passed last year. As he said, nothing has changed. I think there's a little bit that's changed, but I mean, nothing that would derail the signing of the CR. Nothing at all. The only thing that's changed is who is in the Oval Office. That's what's changed. In that context, the Hill, in that context, Democrats know they will get hit hard by a number of voices on the left if they do not get something for opening the government. Yeah, they say people are going to get hammered if they vote for the House-passed bill to reopen the government and keep it funded through November 21st, said one Democratic senator who requested anonymity to talk candidly about their party. The other thing that this article shows, and other ones as well, is that you do have the Democrats that are out there, the main party, the main line of the Democrats, who say that their party is actually weak. And the Democrats in Congress, the Democrats in the Senate, all of them, according to their own party, they are weak. And see, that's why the Democrats are trying to show some fight with Donald Trump, because they don't want to be seen as weak. But here's the thing. I mean, you can't outstrength Donald Trump. You just can't. I mean, Donald Trump is all about, peace through strength as he's dealing with the Middle East, right? And that's one of the things that he goes by. That's one of the things that his administration is based on, peace through strength. The Democrats are not going to be able to put forward this narrative that they're stronger than Donald Trump. There's just no way that they're going to be able to for a number of different reasons. But bottom line is that according to some of the polling out there, they are going to be held accountable in the midterm elections. Then you throw out the redistricting that the Republicans also are looking to do, and it could be a bloody midterm. Joan, is J.D. Vance in Israel yet? Is he there now?
He is. He's there. Yeah,
Marco
they're on the
Rubio
ground.
go with him?
No, but his wife did.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad his wife, Usha. Hey, did you hear the rumors, Joan, that Donald Trump is considering pardoning Diddy?
No.
Did you hear that?
I've heard it before.
Rumors were all over the place.
No.
Listen. The rumors were all over the place that Donald Trump was going to pardon Diddy. So now the question is, Joan Jones, did he? Did Donald Trump pardon Diddy? The White House is denying TMZ's report on President Trump considering commuting Diddy's prison sentence. They say there is zero truth to the TMZ report, which we would have gladly explained had they reached out before running their fake news. I was going back and forth with Aaron, a friend of mine, and about this because I don't want to speak for her, but I was like, no way. What Diddy is accused of is I don't see President Trump commuting that sentence. I just don't. So no. White House is coming out now and saying, fake news. Joan, you're going to have to share the fake news mantle with TMZ.
I can't do it. I like to hold the fake news mantle.
Do you know what we need to do?
All by myself.
We need to come up with a fake news tiara for Joan Jones. Some people have a fake news trophy. We can, because you're like the queen of the staff around here.
Yeah.
So we can get you a little fake news tiara thing. Put it on your head.
If I
like
had
a crown.
one, Nancy Pelosi would just rip it up.
She would certainly try. And if she couldn't, they would get somebody else to rip it up and they'd do a really quick, supercut to make it look like she did it. All right.
He won't do it. I predict he will not do that.
Do you know, I had forgotten that Burger King gives out the silly little hats, the little crowns.
Did you ever get one when you were a kid?
Riker used to love them.
Oh, yeah.
Riker, and I just I'd forgotten all about them when my kids were kids. And then meet Amy, the youngling is like 3 years old when we met. He's 11 now, going on 25. And, but, oh, man, we used to have those little Burger King things all over the house.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I had forgotten about them because I'm not particularly a fan of Burger King. But from what I understand, you can indeed have it your way at Burger King. It is 8:30 on WTN. It's time for the crisscross handoff. Hey, Joan, you know what you need for the crisscross handoff?
Chris
is apparently stuck on I-24.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess.
Which is fine. Do you know that for me, I consider it, I know you disagree with me, Joan. I consider the hours that I work an actual blessing because I don't have to drive in.
I know. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. It's the ugly hour of the day that we get up, but we don't deal with a whole lot of traffic.
Joan, it's not the ugly hour. It's the fugly hour of the day.
Can I tell you that driving home yesterday, after the fugly hour of waking up, driving home yesterday, I got a flat tire.
You did not.
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Did you change your tire?
No. No.
Come on, Joan. You can change your own tire.
I'm sure I could. But I don't.
There's a reason why you have AAA or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I actually called this emergency roadside assistance guy.
Yeah.
He came out. He was great. Mm-hmm. Came out within 20 minutes for $40. Just put the donut on so I could make it to the tire store. Terrific. So
did they when you got to the tire store? Did you got a new tire? Did they try to sell you 3 more like they've tried to do with me? Because that is what they try to do.
They do.
They'll like do the whole penny thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, you can see the head of Lincoln or whatever it is, and try to talk you into new tires.
Well, they did talk me into new tires, and I thought it was the right thing to do. You don't think it is? So I bought 2 tires, 2 back tires, because it was my back driver's side tire.
Yeah.
So then they said, well, it's the tread doesn't match the one on the new one. The tread is going to be so different. The tread doesn't
match. You know what? That sounds like, I don't know. You know what, super texters?
Did I get rolled?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's something to the tread won't match from one tire to the other. That just sounds like a little fishy to me.
Hang on. Did you hear the joke that I just made too? Did I get rolled? We're talking about tires. Wasn't that funny, Dan? Dan.
If I could make a cricket's chirping sound, I would. RJ, do you think that was funny?
RJ, I'm behind you. I/tires.
Don't quit your day job.
Oh, man. Rude.
By the way, somebody called you, what was it? Something about the Wicked Witch or something on the
They said that to
Super Text
RJ?
line. No, to you. Which I don't know why anybody would say, oh, it is true. The thread needs to be the same on each side. Oh, now Tony says Joan got rolled.
Yeah.
Another person says, you did good.
They saw you as a woman and they sold it to you. See, I was afraid of that.
Okay, see, so what's the official, is it, does the tread have to match or not?
Okay, so here's how they explained it. If the treads are different and it's an all-wheel drive car, so you're driving two-wheel drive until you're in a slipping situation. So then when that happens and it goes to all-wheel,
yeah.
If it sends all-wheel and one is treading differently than the other one, then it could burn out something viscous, something. And I said, okay, that sounds right.
Do you know what's so funny? 10-12, Joan got played. Suzanne, lay off, Dan. Joan did the right thing. Now, Sally, who is our friend.
Yeah.
Sometimes, says, well, Dan, tread depth matching is a real thing. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And I told RJ to Google this. RJ, what did you find?
All right, so this is from the official Car Talk Reddit. So this is multiple people confirming this.
Yes.
You need to have similar tire treads because it maintains vehicle stability, handling, and braking safety, especially if you've got all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive.
Okay.
Ha!
So Joan, you were right.
I feel like...
Vindicated.
I feel vindicated.
Just so people know, I'm just looking out for Joan's best interest. I don't want you to get rolled, Joan. What's amazing is we actually just did a public service, Joan.
We did.
So for all the people out there, including yours truly, that had no idea that matching tread depth was
You too can
was
go
a thing.
spend $650 and get some good tires.
Oh, my goodness, 600. Well, you know what? You need them. Hey, by the way, I need some video and audio, if I could, RJ. Hey, Joan.
Yeah.
Do you know how a Democrat is lying when
They're breathing?
When their lips move?
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here.
Jen Psaki.
And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time. And I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage.
So what's happening, and I love that this is happening, what's happening is the people in Biden's inner circle, they are now sort of being held accountable. And so I think, as we've been talking about all day, that's why Cringe Jean-Pierre is beginning to get, or not beginning, she is getting pushback as she is now on her book tour. We've been playing audio off and on all day from CBS, and she was on some podcasts as well, where Corinne Jean-Pierre, former White House press secretary under Biden, she's getting serious pushback. And Jen Psaki, I think she gets a little bit of grace because she left after, how long was she White House press secretary? Do you remember, Joan?
How long was...
We got to start planning these things better.
Psaki.
P-S-A-K-I. Because I think that Biden wasn't as bad as, he ultimately ended up being under Corinne Jean-Pierre. But, I mean, Biden was bad even during the... even during the early months of his presidency.
I think the campaign, he wasn't in all that great shape.
Yeah.
First of all, she was press secretary for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Maybe not that long, maybe a year and 4 months.
Okay.
So I think during the campaign, you could tell because, A, they were staying in the basement, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Him and Jill tucked into the basement, and he didn't have to go out. I think it helped to spiral him because he wasn't going out. He wasn't talking to people.
Yeah. But they wanted to hide him, and that's why they try to stay out of, debates and all that other stuff. They knew that he would be, hit with questions on the campaign trail. So, yeah, I mean, I think for for the Democrats, number one, is that I love how you have, earlier we were playing this audio from Corinne Jean-Pierre when she was on CBS. Now, let me see if I can find that real quick. All right, so we can all agree that Jen Psaki is lying. So I'm gonna no longer run this. We were playing audio earlier of Corinne Jean-Pierre. She was on CBS, and one of the things that I thought was interesting is that the anchors on CBS, it's like the CBS morning show or whatever it is, and they're saying, how is it possible that you didn't see Joe Biden, losing his ever-loving mind? You were part of his inner circle. And so one of the things that I'm noticing, and I think it's actually kind of funny, is that whether it's Stephen Colbert, whether it is this morning show on CBS and so forth, is that they are now trying to make it seem like they are in the clear, when the reality is they were right there with everybody else, including Corinne Jean-Pierre, in saying that Joe Biden was fine. So the same people that were ignoring it, just like Corinne Jean-Pierre, are now attacking her and saying that she ignored it and that she is lying in her book. This was Jean-Pierre. She is on a podcast, and I don't know what podcast this is, but this guy is pushing back, and I love it.
We did have legislative wins.
Sure,
and
but he didn't talk about him that well, though. He couldn't talk about them. He wasn't campaigning that
Wait, first of all, he did talk about them. Whether it broke through or not, he did. Tim, he did talk about.
I mean, he talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less. And he wasn't out there at all. He wasn't good off the cuff. He wasn't doing press conferences. Let's just be real. Like, he didn't do night events.
Tim, that's not true.
If she just says, but Tim,
it'll make it all better.
Yeah.
If she just says, but Tim, another 15 times, he'll back off on calling her a liar.
Tim, you're conflating all of it. That's what you're doing. No, you're telling me he didn't talk well about it. Then you're telling me he didn't talk at all.
He didn't do either. He didn't talk very often, and when he did, it wasn't very good. He sounded very old.
Maybe you weren't paying attention to what we were doing at the White House. But
wow. So I'm assuming. Here's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that this person, Tim, I'm not sure who it is. I apologize to Tim, but for her not to say to a political podcaster, maybe you weren't paying attention to what we were doing at the White House. Are you kidding me? And so she's definitely on the defensive.
I paid attention. I'm with you on the policies. I'm talking about his performance.
The president spoke to the American people a couple times a week. He traveled.
So he didn't speak to the American people a couple of times a week. He clearly did not. I mean, that is a blatant lie. You folks watching on YouTube, and you've been watching all day, she's got a new hairstyle. Same old lies. She used to have that tight perm.
Yeah.
And now she has it straight. And people are like, we couldn't even recognize her. Why do you think she changed her hair, Joan? That's the thing that people keep talking about.
Well, because she's the new persona. She's defending Biden here, but she's been talking about Democrats in a whole different light. She changed her political affiliation to independent.
Sure.
So she's trying to just make herself appear a little different. I think she's trying to jumpstart her own political career.
Really?
Yeah.
You think she wants to be a politician?
I do. She thinks she has the right stuff. I mean, I really believe she thinks that.
Where does she live?
That's a good question. She was living in Washington, D.C. Where does...
Can you imagine? Would people even vote for her? I don't think she's not liked in her own party. So I don't really think that she would have...
Yeah, she lives in Washington,
Matt
D.C.
Murphy. Thank you, Matt Murphy. This is Tim Miller, lefty podcast guy.
Ah.
So there you go.
She lives in...
By the way, Matt, thanks for telling everybody that I slept in the Home Depot parking lot yesterday.
Yeah, that
really
wasn't very nice.
Pal. I'm just kidding, Matt. We love you.
She lives in Washington, D.C. I guess she stayed there.
All right. Well, whatever. I don't know. The Democrats definitely don't like her these days, including Tim Miller and the anchors on CBS News. And, she had a run-in with Jay Tapper and, some other people as well. So I I do find it interesting that the same TV news anchors that completely ignored Joe Biden's obvious mental and cognitive decline are now on the attack against Karine Jean-Pierre as they say, oh, what do you mean you didn't notice? You were right there. And I would say to all these people that are questioning her, well, you were too. I mean, you were watching him on TV just like all the rest of us were. And I'm not in Washington, D.C. I'm certainly not part of the Biden inner circle, but I could certainly tell, and all you all could too that are listening and watching on Super Talk TV, we knew that Joe Biden was cognitively declining. We did know. So certainly the Tim Miller and all of these other, TV anchors and so forth, they knew that Joe Biden was cognitively declining. They certainly did. They just don't want to admit to it, and they want to use Karine Jean-Pierre as a punching bag. I think that's what's happening. Joan, what do you think?
I think that's absolutely true. I mean, you'd have to be blind and incapable of thinking in order to think that Joe Biden was okay, because he wasn't. You saw him wander off. You saw him talking to the ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
Saw him fall a lot.
Saw him fall. You saw him get lost on the stage, you calling out for...
the time he walked into the woods.
Walking into the woods.
Right?
Oh, my God, that was so funny, Joan.
And
remember he just turned around and he just started walking into the woods and people are like, where's he going?
Yeah, and how about the time he was with, maybe it was a G7 meeting or something, and one of the world leaders had to turn around and issue him to, come on back this way, buddy.
The time that Obama had to lead him off the stage, Obama grabbed him by the wrist.
I mean, there's just so many instances of the crazy things he would say. Oh my goodness. It was a crazy time that we lived in, and we all knew it.
They were the best of times and the worst of times.
They were the worst of times.
Best of times because as a talk show host, it was like nonstop content. The worst of times because he tried to destroy our country.